Hello, welcome back to Matthew Conlon's YouTube channel. Temporary name. I'm finally getting to do some of my D&D stuff today. I'm basically just going to be doing commercials for stuff that I have up on the DMsGuild. I'll give a brief overview of what it is I'm pitching, and then there will be some time-lapsed voiceover doodles to explain some of the class features or mechanics or whatever. So, with that said, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll do that again at the end, and I'll post a link to this, the Bard College of Law subclass, in the description. Available now on DMsGuild. Pay what you want. It's free if you want it. So the Bard College of Law is, in short, a college that makes you a barrister, or a lawyer, if you prefer. I was inspired by, I want to say they are called Outlandish Adventures Publications, OAP, a lot of their products. They produced a core class called the Justicar, very cool, I recommend you look it up, which had an elaborate judicial theme. And so I created this Bard College as a sort of, I don't want to say answer to it, but I just thought it was something fun where you'd have these bards that would come in, and if a Justicar came into town trying to sweep up the criminal enterprises there, these bards might come in and argue on their behalf. And so with that in mind, we'll jump right into the features that sets this Bard College apart from other Bard colleges. The first feature is legal expertise. Pretty straightforward. You get proficiency in persuasion and history if you don't already have them. If you do already have them, then you get to double your proficiency bonus when rolling those skills. This goes right into being a lawyer or barrister who has to argue in front of the court, convince a jury or a judge, etc. The other feature you get at level 3 is called J'accuse. And there will be a doodle for that. So here we have the J'accuse ability. We have a gnome bard, practitioner of the College of Law, accusing a goblin, perhaps of stealing or assault, just labeling them as the worst kind of criminal. And that's going to give his allies, a druid in camel form and an elven warrior, an easier time hitting him in combat. The goblin doesn't know what he did. So, J'accuse is really an ability where you spend your bardic inspiration to lower an enemy's AC in combat. It's only good for one round, but you can really make it easy for your party members to hit. I like the mechanic of it, sort of randomized how effective it's going to be. And the alternative is you can spend it so that for an extended duration, it makes it a lot easier to track a target in a populated area. Basically, you give that target a scarlet letter. Everybody knows what they did, even if it's something that you just made up. Although I suspect only evil barristers would do that. The next feature, which you get at level 6, is called Spirit of Justice. Spirit of Justice is pretty straightforward. It was inspired by, I want to say, the Murdoch Mysteries, which was about a lawyer, TV show, I think Canadian, maybe BBC. A lawyer would go from town to town and solve crimes while he was prosecuting or defending a given individual, and there just always seemed to be a sheriff around who would pop up to help him. I'm captured by the bad guy. Good thing the sheriff was following me and helps get me out of that jam. So Spirit of Justice also has a doodle. Here you go. So here we have the Spirit of Justice. Forgive the out of focusness of this clip. It'll go away in a few seconds. But here we have the Bard. Narratively, this can work however you want it. I like to think of the Bard as always being shocked when his ally appears, because the Spirit of Justice is supposed to just be some local sheriff, some old-timer who wants to make sure this young lawyer doesn't get into too much trouble. And so he just pops out from behind a rock like, "Hey man, you okay in there?" And our little bard friend is caught unawares and rather afeared. So in short, once a day you can summon a veteran straight out of the monster manual. I think they are CR3. They're pretty potent if you can optimize their use. They get 3 attacks around. The limitation on this ally though is that they are gonna be lawful. If you're doing illegal stuff, they're just gonna tell you to pound sand and then they'll take off and you won't be able to use that ability again for 7 days. Otherwise, they stay and they help you out for up to an hour, and at the end of that hour, you know, they gotta take the criminals to the jail and process evidence, I guess. So at the end of that hour, they take off on their own. But it's very handy. When you get it at level 6, very strong ability, but by the time you're level 20, it's really more of like a ribbon ability. I'll talk more about my design philosophy in another video. But for right now, let's move on to the level 14 ability for the Bard College of Law, called the Letter of the Law. The Letter of the Law is pretty straightforward. It's almost like a ribbon ability from the beginning, but also simultaneously maybe one of the strongest abilities your character will be able to make use of. Essentially, you will roll a history check when you have been caught doing something the locals don't want you to do. So if you are, I don't know, breaking into a bank to steal stuff and you get caught, your barrister can make a history check, and if they beat a DC of 20, then they remember some obscure minutia in the legal system that just makes whatever they're doing okay. So maybe it's legal to rob banks if you can prove corruption, or, you know, it's a new moon where all crime is legal. You just remember something that's in the local law. And this also works in organizations like bands of thieves. You remember the Thieves Code. Hey, doesn't the Thieves Code say every man for himself? Stealing isn't a crime. You can't get mad at me over this. It does state in the ability that it's ultimately the DM's job to arbitrate how the ability is going to impact a given encounter. But most circumstances you choose to use it in, it should realistically probably get you kind of out of a jam. I thought of it as like a get out of jail free card that you can use some of the time, and my hope is that DMs choose to run it that way. Here's a doodle. Once you hit level 14 and 15, you're going to be going very different places. Like, for instance, if you broke into Mount Celestia to steal the treasures of the gods, your barrister might be able to convince them that it's okay that you did that because of the date or a particular star alignment. Who knows? The letter of the law is absolute. So there you have it. In that doodle you saw, you know, your little barrister arguing in front of, I don't know, the gods of death, creation, and knowledge. So that's an introduction to the Bard College of Law, available for free. Pay what you want on the DMsGuild. There will be a link in the description. If you're enjoying watching me draw stuff, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be trying to do these at least weekly, but probably daily, since there's a little bit of flexibility in my schedule right now. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day, stay safe, and you'll see me next time.